Well, good morning all and welcome to another beautiful sunny spring day here at the Off-Grid Homestead. And I want to cover a topic in this video, and that's relating to shading in summertime of my chickens, because there were a few people that were concerned about the chicken coop here that I built for the chickens not having shade and potentially looking at putting insulation in on the roof. So it is around about 11:30, so it's not quite midday, and we're going to look behind me and you can see the shade is already on the chicken coop. Now up here is the trees. In fact, the whole chicken run here is all under trees, so it's all shaded. So 11:30 in the morning and the shade is already coming over. Now while I got the camera rolling, there's another thing I want to show you as well that I've had to make some changes to. I've actually moved the fish pond, which is the IBC tank cut in half where I had my fish, and I've brought that up here and I've put it in where the composting area is. And the reason why I've moved... Hello chicken. Hello little chookie. Come and say hello to my subscribers. Come on. What are you going to do? You're going to lay some eggs out there? We better check the eggs too, see if we've got some eggs. So the fishy are in here. Let's just entice them out with a little bit of some tucker. Give them a little couple of taps and they know to come up and get the food. What do you do to keep your fish pond or fish reserve or whatever? What do you use to keep the water from getting that green algae coming through? Because it is in the sun. So we are certainly going to get a nice environment for that algae to want to grow back again. So some suggestions below would be great, so I can try and keep this a lot cleaner than what I had it in the past. Another thing I'm also thinking about doing is potentially incorporating some hydroponics or is it aquaponics or something when you've got the fish and the plants. So I might even look at potentially using that and doing that with the fish as well. Now, if you watch Blue, what he's done, we can get into some good exposure here, is he has discovered it is super fun to chase flies. So what he does is, you can see him looking at one right now. No, he's looking at his toy. He wants to, no, he's looking at a fly.
One eternity later.
So he's going for the fly. He's stalking it. And he's going to chase it any second. There he goes. And that's what he does. Now the problem with Blue doing that is it's entertaining for him. It actually gives him something to focus on and do his kelpie rounding up thing. But the thing is, he doesn't know the difference between flies and bees. And he got himself a bee the other day, got stung in the foot and the mouth. His whole snout swelled up, his lips swelled up. So I kept an eye on him for a couple of hours and then he was fine. The swelling went down, he was fine. But this pond here, what it does is it attracts all the bees for the water. Now if you follow my channel through the years, you'll know that summertime, this is where the bees comes, and I have thousands of bees come here. And I've got some videos on my shorts if you want to see how many bees come in during the daytime for the water. Now I can't risk having that down by the house where the dog is. You can see him in the background. I don't know if you can kind of see that. In the background he's there chasing more flies. I can't have him chasing bees and getting stung every day because it's eventually going to get him and going to kill him. So I've decided to move the fish pond up here where the compost area is, and we'll run the fish up here and hopefully maybe get some aquaponics or whatever it's called. You getting them flies, dog? So have you laid any eggs for me today? Looks like you want to go and make some eggs or lay some eggs. You're wanting to roost. Nothing in that one. Yep, we got two in this one. I'll grab those two out. Nothing in that one. Nothing in that one. But this one here is looking like it wants to lay an egg just in there, so we'll leave this one in peace. So we've got two so far this morning. So we're going to finish off the video by getting out the old dehydrator, because I was in town yesterday and picked up 2 bags of tomatoes at the spud shed for $4. So going out 2 kilos for $4, which for the cost of tomatoes here in Australia, if you're going to store buy them, they're usually around about between $7 to $12 a kilo. So that's not bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to slice all these up, and I'm going to put them on the dehydrator and get some dehydrated tomatoes going.
A few moments later.
So there we have it. We have 4 trays of sliced tomatoes to dehydrate. I've cut them reasonably thick, so that's going to take around about 24 hours at least for those to cook or to dehydrate. And the leftover ends, and this rotten one here, that's going to go into the worm farm and the compost bin. So to spread it up between the two. Now, if you want to see the end result of this, leave a comment below. And if enough people want to see the end result, well, I will post up a little video in the shorts showing the end result of this. Now, you can also leave a comment below and tell me what you use your dehydrator for. What type of things do you dehydrate? And when you do the dehydrated tomatoes, do you put seasoning on the tomatoes as well? I might even do that. I'm going to put some seasoning on these before we start that one up. Let's do it. Let's put a little bit of seasoning. I'll put some of this on it. So let's give that a try and see how that works. One tray there. Grab the next tray. And there. We'll grab our 3rd tray, or our 4th tray. Put it up on there. Well, it's actually a 5 tray, but we're using 4. We'll put the lid on. And we'll give this a little bit of a cranking up. We're going to select medium. I'll let that run. So this is my kitchen scraps can that I use each stage coming out, and of course we've got our tomatoes. Now what I do with the eggshells is I'm going to break these up, and we're going to make some egg shell grit for the chicken, so that's going to go back into the chickens. But I'll show you what else I've got in here that worms love, and these are the coffee bags from those coffees I've had. The worms love those, so let's go ahead and get these worms fed. All right, worm tray number 1. Look at all those worms in there. A couple up here. So I'll grab some of these. I'll put that there. We'll grab a couple of these tomatoes. Lay them down over there like that. They love all the juicy stuff. A bit of the shell grit as well. Crunch that up. Spread a bit of that around. That keeps them going. We'll go over to worm farm number 2. We'll have a look and see how that's going, because this one really has taken off. I did bring a few more worms in for it, so yeah, they've really chomped into some food. They're running out of food, so we better get them some tomatoes. Hey, what do you think? Lay a few tomatoes down for them. Get some coffee out of those coffee bags. Sprinkle some of those granules out. They love the coffee. The worms. Bit of shell grit. Throw a bit of that. Sorry, Chooks. Looks like the worms might be getting all your shell grit. So there you go. A little bit of food for them. And you get the idea. I don't want to film too much of this because it'll just get too boring for you. So we'll finish the video up here. I'm back up at the chook yard and veggie garden area here. We'll give the chickens some little bit of eggshell for some shell grit. Now I have heard of a theory that by feeding the chickens shell grit and your shells, it encourages to get the chickens to peck their own eggs. I have not experienced that myself, but I know I have heard that. So I'll just put this down here. Here, girls. There you go. Look at that. They're hopping into that. Oh, yeah. Yummies. Oh, and little puppy here wants food as well. They're certainly hopping into the shells, that's for sure, so that's good for them, while this one gets nice and jealous. So let me know your thoughts on feeding the chickens the shells for some shell grit. Is it going to encourage them to attack their own eggs that they lay? Behave, girls. No fighting. No. You big bully. Oh, well, we're all into it now. Beat up this chicken. Girls, can you stop fighting? I don't know. I'm just going to chuck this in the compost bin here. And then we'll be done with this video. Hopefully it hasn't bored you too much, but it is kind of the off-grid chores, or the homesteading chores, that I do get up to, and bringing a lot more of these videos to you. So if you're liking these videos, let me know. I'm not doing as many solar videos, although I need to do another few now that we've got the sun come up. We'll do a couple of solar videos, have a look to see how our system's going now that our sun's coming, or our summer is coming and we're getting more power production. So do you like solar videos, or do you like the homesteading videos, or do you like both? Let me know. So we'll see you on the next video coming out on the off-grid homestead. I hope you liked what you saw today.